To give you some background information, my husband Joe collected coins and stamps. My son collected hockey cards, and I decided I want some kind of collection of my own. I chose bells because my mother had a few, I had one, and of course, it's our last name. Then in the Baltimore Convention, I came across the series of books by the McPhersons called Bells on Stamps. And that kind of united Joe's hobby and my hobby. Now, what is the topic? Ching Chimes have anything to do with a bell collection, a convention, excuse me. Well, cha-ching usually refers to money, and chimes are bells. So what I'm talking about here today is bells on different kinds of currencies. The first thing that we're going to talk about is called Notgeld. Notgeld is a word for token money, necessity, or emergency money. Political and economic upheaval after World War I in Germany and the surrounding areas caused their currency to be devalued to the point where it was worthless. Cities, banks, and even businesses began issuing their own Notgeld or token money in order to keep commerce moving. This was without official sanction, and it was not legal tender, but it did help commerce continue. Germany excessively used Notgeld after World War I because of the reparations they had to pay to other countries for damages during the World War I. This German word, Notgeld, now refers to all this token money. The first Notgeld that we're going to look at is from the Rudolstadt city in Germany. It's a set of 10 that was issued in 1922. Now, you can see that its denomination here is worth 50 Pfennig. The top one is the only one of the series where there is a large bell centered on the front. The phrase underneath says, coupon of Rudolstadt. The rest have bells in the corner, as you can see with the bottom one. The centered frame pictures were scenes of the culture or the town or the area. The bottom one with the young couple says, our eyes look to the open skies. And you can see that there is a farm scene with the open horizon in front of them. Many of the phrases appear to rhyme. We can see that here with these three. The top one says Verena and Germina. The top one on the right says storm and torm. The bottom one has two rhyming words, Weisse and Kreise. Rhyming makes you think of poetry, and in fact, these lines are from a poem called The Song of Bells by Friedrich Schiller. The corner bells, the central oval portraits you can see are on all the issues throughout the series. There are very few German words that I know, but there are two here on the bottom one that I kind of know. Junge and Folk. and that means young people. And it says that these young people are flying into the dance, and maybe it is a harvest dance because, again, it looks like a farm scene with the straw in the back. These two are also not geld. The top one, again, is a 15 pfennig from Rudolstadt, but it is a different issue. It has no corner bells, just the center bell, and no phrases from that particular poem. The one on the bottom, is from Ludenhausen city in Germany. It is a Schreimark, which means 2 mark in Germany. And again, you can see the large center bell. This was issued in 1921. The next not geld have a story. These two look very similar, but there are differences here that I want to point out to you. After the Treaty of Versailles, after World War I, Germany's borders were redefined, redrawn. One area included the Schleswig-Holstein area. Now, what happened here is that this area was partly Danish and partly German, and it was decided to let the public, the populace, have a vote on where they wanted to be placed, in Denmark or in Germany, under their control. This referendum vote took place on February 10th, 1920. This is called a plebiscite. You can see the word on the bottom one, and also the date of the referendum. Now, I want you to take a closer look at the two pieces of paper here. The top one has no letter beside the one. The wording around the bell says, "Work and never doubt." Now, the bottom one is a little different. Of course, you can see the plebiscite and the date have been added, but also beside the number, you see the KR. This is for Krona for Denmark. This is a Denmark issue here. The Augustenborg set on the back is also different. Notice that the top one has an M. That's the German one. This was issued in April of 1920, shortly after the plebiscite, and issued in Germany. It was used for commerce. It was accepted here because it was in Germany. The bottom one, again, has the KR, meaning the Krona from Denmark. Also, the wording here is much different. This was issued in October 15th, 1921, long after the referendum. The wording here states that this is a note only good as a souvenir of the successful vote and cannot be redeemed. The next two are miscellaneous, and I don't have much information about either one. The top one I know is Chinese, and I know that it was issued in 1920. My son was doing a reverse search, and because we can't read Chinese, we couldn't find out any more information. I did find out that bells at this time in the cities were rung in the morning to begin the day, to begin the business. So that's all I have for that one. The other two are the two sides of a 50,000 Russian ruble. This was part of an advertising campaign, and it was from the Liberty Trust from Allentown, PA. They handed these out to customers. Now, Allentown has some significance to the Liberty Bell. That's why I chose this piece of paper. The Liberty Bell in 1776 was moved from Philadelphia to Allentown to keep it out of the control of the British during the Revolutionary War. You can see the Liberty Bell on the side, of course, being the temporary home of the bell. This is important to the city, but if it were a real Russian ruble being used for commerce, it would have a Russian stamp on it instead. Now, the new section that I'm going into switches to coins, medallions, tokens. The first part is legal tender. In 1962, the U.S. government issued this Franklin half dollar. You can see the large Liberty Bell in the middle with the eagle on the side. It is marked a half dollar. That's its denomination. This one has the 1984 silver dollar. It is marked 0.999% pure. Now, it does not have an eagle on it. It does not have a denomination on it, but it was issued as a silver dollar, so it is legal tender. The Eisenhower dollar on the bottom has the large Liberty Bell in front of a very large moon. Now, what does the moon have to do with the Liberty Bell that was issued in 1976? The Liberty Bell on this coin. Well, it was designed and proposed in 1969. 1969 is when the Apollo 11 landed on the moon, so this is why the moon is on the coin. Next, we have a bronze coin from the National Bank of Ukraine. It was issued in 1996. It commemorates the 10th anniversary of the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. We can see a bell here. I don't know what bell it is or why it was so important, but on the reverse side is the symbol of the Ukraine, the trident. Now, the Liberty Bell is quite recognizable not only in the United States but around the world. And there are coins then that look like they have a bell very similar to the Liberty Bell on some of their coins. This one is from the Netherlands. It is a small diamond-shaped silver coin. This was issued in 1980 on the 35th anniversary of their liberation after World War II in 1945. The bell is in a small frame here, and it does very much look like the Liberty Bell. Now, this is a token from the World's Fair in 1926 that was taking place in Philadelphia. It was the anniversary of the sesquicentennial of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. On the back of this coin are the words Treasure Island doubloon. Now, it is not a doubloon. It's not Spanish. It is not from Treasure Island, but Treasure Island is a fictional book, a fictional place, And this was given out in the amusement park of the World's Fair, so there's a connection there. This is a bronze medallion produced by the History Channel Club. It was issued in 1976 for the bicentennial. That's why you see the 1776 on the coin. This piece that looks like a book is actually a key fob. It was handed out to the members of the National Education Association at their centennial convention. Actually, it is an advertising piece. It advertises on the back the John C. Winston Textbook Publishers. This large bronze token shows the ringing of the Liberty Bell. This took place in July of 1835. It was to honor John Marshall, who died on this date. He was the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Before that, he had spent many years as Secretary of State, so he was a well-known statesman, and this was issued in his honor. Now, here we see Allentown again. This coin was issued by the Allentown Coin Club. It, again, shows the Liberty Bell on the front. This was issued again to commemorate the movement of the Liberty Bell to Allentown during the Revolutionary War. On the reverse side is a wagon train depicting the transport of the bell. There is also a second issue of this coin in silver, and it has a different wagon train scene. This last token is called a challenge coin. If you look at it, you see the eagle in the colors of the American flag, and then you see the Liberty Bell. It looks very patriotic and almost makes you think of the government and the military. Okay? Now, this particular coin is a zinc alloy. Around the sides, you see quotes by John Fitzgerald Kennedy and Patrick Henry. These kinds of challenge coins are usually issued by organizations, different branches of the military, other kind of groups, and they have their own symbols and emblems on it. A military challenge coin in particular would show that the member who had it had a connection to a specific unit or was on a specific tour of duty. Other coins might show anniversaries of special events for the group. This is the end of my presentation. I hope that you enjoyed it, that you got something out of it, and you will take this information with you. I also want to extend to you to have a good time at the convention and enjoy other presentations and the auction. This is Mary Ann Bell saying goodbye.